Went up on the right leg, pop, 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 and the left leg looks like somebody gave him like 10 beers, right? They're like, they can't even do it. We gave them with the left hamstring and the left adductor back, and also like, oh yeah, that feels so much better. What did you do? It's like, you can now feel your left leg. That's it. So when we look at a lot of times too, if I have a kid coming in for a cut, they always want to do this, right? Because they're planting off that right hip that they know is really sturdy, as opposed to being able to go here, turn, and then go here, right? It's very different. If we have them running back and forth, they're like running in circles if they do it the other way.
Is this right-handed versus left-handed?
So it has nothing to do with that. We are going to, from their principle is that because we have these organs that are asymmetrical. I have a big liver on this side, I have 3 lobes of lung on this side, I have a brain that likes this right side more. That's why everybody's right-handed, right? So it's not whether I'm right-handed or left-handed, it's I just am naturally much easier to gravitate towards this side because of these things. The thing is, like, at first I was kind of like, bullshit, right? But the more and more I do all this testing, so like I've been using their stuff for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, I have yet to really see that not play out, right? We have a couple instances where I'm like, this is really weird, right? It doesn't necessarily match the algorithm that they talk about, but in the same sense, like, I don't know, there could be a whole host of other things. A lot of this stuff plays off of sensory input. So if my vision's off, my hearing or my jaw is off, I mean, we have kids, one of the guys that we were talking about earlier about their sprinting stuff, he's like, I think I can correlate hamstring strains or muscle pulls to when kids get their braces tightened. Like I kind of believe it, because if I'm moving these muscles in my jaw and face to hold this in a better position, it changes the stability through my neck, which then changes everything. So like, there's a huge difference between someone that can stabilize their trunk with their head out like this, and someone that can do that, right? So I know that a perfect example is when you have somebody on the floor and I say, and they lie like this, right? And they try to do a trunk exercise, and they're straining really hard. And I go, would you like a yoga block under your head? And they do that, and I'm like, oh yeah, it feels so much better, I can feel my abs, right? So all these things, the main thing you should take away from this is position dictates function, right? So if someone's like, oh, my hips don't work, I'm going to give you this abduction mini band walk, is that really going to do anything if they're like this? Nope, right? Because I completely taken that hip and changed its orientation. I probably can't even get into these muscles at all. So this is where, like, if we were really going to try to get a hip, what we look at now is being, can I shift back into that leg, right, and then orient the pelvis over it, and now all of a sudden I can really feel those muscles do what they're supposed to. Whereas, like, again, with this left AIC stuff, like, so Doug's a pretty good example of this. He's feeling that left hamstring work really hard, probably because it really doesn't do that much normally. And now he's like, oh yeah, man, that thing's fatiguing pretty good. And if I line these ribs up with it, I should now have an ab complex that's also working to hold this in position, right? Okay. The main thing the other thing too is, like, to your point, you're like, well, what is this? What is this? How is this going to change anything? What you should feel is, it goes back to that idea of, like, I just feel a little bit easier, right? Things just feel a little bit lighter. They use a lot of times, like, it feels like I'm a little bit, like I'm lighter, or ease of movement. I just think, oh, I feel actually like things are toned down a little bit. And that's the thing is, if my dial for my sympathetic nervous system is always cranked up because I'm always here and this is the only way I can move, when you shut someone off a little bit, I'm like, oh man, this feels like, yeah, I feel like I can move smoother. That's a pretty good gauge of, like, oh, this is going to allow me more capacity as I do stuff. To Karen's point, a lot of times I hear people's, like, stomachs rumble. Like, they'll be in there and also we get these things to do this, and they breathe and things start to loosen up a little bit. It's like, I'm like, please don't fart. Alright, but the other part too is, this is also why we use balloons a lot, is because I need that exhale and then a good inhale to kind of get this system to almost orient itself a little bit. A lot of times you'll hear this, and it's like, all right, I don't really know what you did there. But they're sucking in all this air and out of the room, and then they're holding it, and then they're just giving this little bit. So if we can normalize both breath in and out, we're in good space. Don't let them breathe in through their mouth, right? That is like the big no-no, because we're gonna probably get this, like, that's not the strategy we want. We want tongue to the roof of their mouth, in through the nose, and then all the way out. Right. So let's take Doug through. So this is sagittal 99 breathing. Let's take him through the frontal one. So usually they go after a right glute max first, depending on what the system shows us. Sometimes we'll go. I find we get a little more success sometimes going after a left inner thigh, mainly because it's just easier to set up. Right. A lot of this stuff is for us that we use. Like we do a lot more adductor pullbacks than we do right glute maxes, just because we don't need a lot of equipment, and it's much easier for kids to figure it out. All right. So let's get Doug. We'll go after the right glute max first. Let's get Doug lying on his left side with his feet stacked up on the yoga block. Yeah, please. All right. We won't use them for the first one, but we'll get after it on the next one.
90.
Yeah. So get your butt over. Yep. Grab the small one. Right. What? Yeah, that's a big one. So same thing, we want Doug to kind of like tuck his ribs a little bit and push his butt back good. We know from our testing that we're probably going to be stuck on this side, which means he normally is like this. So we're going to go the opposite. We're going to roll this knee forward so it's out in front of the left, right? And then he's going to open his right knee up to the ceiling. Hold that. Right there, you're good right there. Keep this space between the floor, all right, and where I'm at. All right, again, tuck the ribs a little bit. Good. All right, so we're constantly trying to drive this knee towards me. Yeah? And what do you feel? Here. All right, so he's getting his left ab wall on. What's happening over here?
No.
Keep trying to slide your knee towards my hand. This right one. Yeah, wow.
It's not going anywhere, but I'm thinking about putting it there.
Good. Tuck your ribs. Good. Still feel that left ab wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what we should be feeling is this right butt cheek.
It doesn't feel like it's firing at all.
Okay. So here's this. We're going to give him an external cue. It may not be the right thing to do first, but we'll try to play with it. So Doug, put that on your, put it on both knees up there. All right, here's the other reason why this might not be the best place to start, is because if Doug kind of is like, we would say like a PEC, it makes it hard for him to shift in and out of like hip sometimes. So what we want to see is this roll forward even more. So kind of, you're going to try to slide this whole thing, roll on top of that femur. Good. Now open that knee up against the band, hold that. Push your heel into the box. Hold that. Now what do you got?
This right here.
Okay. Should that be on? No. So
I also feel it in this.
This left inner thigh.
Yeah.
All right, you're going to tuck your ribs and roll your tailbone. So you're going to tilt. Yeah, there you go. Now what do you feel?
Everything.
Better.
What did you
Left
change?
glute, right glute.
Yeah.
That just fired my glutes big time.
What did you change?
We turned this color. All right, so remember we talked about, so remember we talked about if they're doing stuff like this, and we're trying to activate hips, it just isn't going to work. Right? So we still want them to even tuck even tighter, and then keep rolling that forward, opening that up. You're going to feel probably this left ab hip. No, maybe?
Just the glutes, and I'm starting to feel the hamstrings.
Okay? And I want you to try to open that up a little higher. Hold that. This guy should be working very hard.
Yeah.
Breathe. Big exhale. One more breath. Good, relax. Okay? 1 to 10, how hard was that? 10 being excruciating.
7-ish, 6-ish.
Perfect. Alright? If we bring him to like an 8 or 9, you'll typically see this. And they're not breathing, which means like everything is not, it's just like too hard. Anything below like a 4 or like a 5, they're like, I feel a little bit. But it's not enough for them to actually appreciate that tissue. Alright? So what we're constantly trying to manage is like, can I feel that doing a ton of work and where it's supposed to? Because I want them to actually get up, but I can still feel that tissue kind of on, and then introduce it into like just normal movement. So run me through what you felt again.
Both glutes firing,
Okay.
and my hamstrings. I can still feel my left hamstring a little bit.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's not necessarily what we're going after, but I know I want it on, so that's okay. All right, so then let's try, we're going to do a variation of that. So now we're going to add in the adductor on that left leg. So you're going to do the same exact thing. Yep, roll forward, good, tuck the, yep, you got it. Open that right knee up, hold it there. Try to lift that left knee up without moving anything else. I know. Right there, Doug. Okay. Can you breathe? Keep breathing. Keep tucking those ribs. There you go. Give me some space here. Yep, now we got it. Big exhale. One more. Good. How hard was that?
It didn't hurt, but it felt like it was impossible to do. You know, like, so it was like, it was more of an 8 or a 9, but not because of exertion like pain, but exertion like the muscles don't want to do it.
Alright, because things aren't necessarily in the right position, it almost feels impossible to get that joint to move the way we want. Alright, so just real quick, stand up and let's just see a toe touch. Not that we tested it earlier, but I want to see what you feel.
Alright, I'm getting past my knee this time.
Yeah, we always test. We didn't test them the first time. So and what do you feel, Doug?
Back feels loose, hamstrings are just tight.
Perfect.
Which usually I feel all of this.
Yeah. Alright, so what we did was we added in this, we started with just this rolling over. Now I'm rolling this right hip over my left. Right? So if I'm normally like this most of the time, I need to get back into this left side, and then I'm opening this right leg up. Then what I asked him to do is like, can you now take this leg and adduct it? So we're basically forcing what he's normally like this and going the exact opposite and trying to now stabilize the pelvis with left adductor, right glute max, left ab roll, right? Which is normally the exact opposite, right adductor, left glute max, right ab roll.
You have more success with your athletes with this than with what you just did with Doug?
No, we will do, so here's the thing, our sequence is usually 90-90 breathing, supine hook line left hamstring, then we'll go right side lying adductor pull back. Let's show that one. So Doug, come over here, right? So right side. Okay, and then we'll usually go left side line glute max. And usually we'll use a mini band or something like that. So
Is there something to send us on everyone?
yes, yeah. Alright, so we're gonna go on this side, so we flipped it, right? So now, instead of sliding this knee forward, we're gonna pull it back. The other thing too is, left leg is usually stuck in external rotation, so we're gonna try to pull it back and internally rotate it, which means instead of having this under his feet, we're gonna put it between his ankles, okay? So, what we want, again, same thing, ribs tucked a little bit, he's gonna sink this left hip back as far as he can to create the discrepancy, all right? And now he's gonna squeeze that knee down. Don't squeeze this one up, just literally try to squeeze that one down. And what do you feel, Doug?
I've got a slight pull on that side.
Where?
Inner
groin.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, so I want this left adductor to almost crank. Right? The harder you pull this hip back, right, the better we're gonna sink it back into the space for this to grip. Right? So again, let this leg relax, keep sinking this back, take a breath in, big exhale, squeeze down. Alright, and then we can give him even an external cue. So get this. Good. Alright, so now pull this back, squeeze down, don't pull this out. Now don't squeeze this one up, just literally try to hold it down with that leg. Does that make that harder?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Alright, breathe. Alright, keep sinking this back, and then squeeze down. Don't lose the distance that you gained from that. Alright, so you don't want to squeeze down and let this slide forward again. You're constantly trying to sink that back. You're gonna get one more breath there. Good, fantastic, man. Try your toe touch again. So feet together, legs stay straight. What do you notice now? Any change? About the same.
Yeah, about the same.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect it too much because we already got it with the right glute and that left adductor, but that's just an easier version of the one he did. Did that feel as impossible as the other one? No, right? So the other one, we had, they call it the left side line knee to knee. That's a lot of crap going on. Like, we got a lot of things moving in that position. So that's usually something you would probably use after. Like, I don't have too many kids that are like, oh, I can hold this, coach, and then do all these things at the same time and just go, right? It just looks like a hot mess. Yeah. Right. A lot of stuff is like, sometimes you need a one-on-one setting.
Like, if you can't get him to do the warm-up right, there's no way to
Yeah.
Here's like, yep, I did it.
Here's the thing though, in some cases, like 90-90 breathing, it's pretty, like, we can coach it and we do it as a team usually, and kids start to figure it out. right? And they start to pick up on it. But yes, the other one that's like 10 different cues,
But
right?
there's
So,
nothing wrong